Hey guys, it's Stephen here. Manchester City have just beat West Ham 1-0, and that was a nervy, tense game. I said on Twitter before, and I was a bit worried about this game for some reason. I had a really nagging doubt about it, and it did actually transpire to be quite a tricky game, but we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. I'll go into more detail about the game later on. We've got loads to talk about throughout this video beforehand, and what I say, if you haven't checked my Patreon out, patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany, if you want to support this channel a little bit more, get a shout out in the video, get your name in the credits, and maybe get involved in the Patreon Q&A. If you don't, just carry on watching these videos. I appreciate your support, absolutely well. You all heroes. Don't forget to like this video as well, because City won 3 points today. But anyway, let's go into the game. And all the talk beforehand was about City being in the middle of an injury crisis. And I think we are in the middle of an injury crisis. You can see with no Stones, no Laporte, no Fernandinho, no Gabriel Jesus. But it just showed how strong our squad is, because the team that we ended up lining up with was pretty strong. I mean, maybe some of the players were tired, but it was still 11 that most people would kill to have. Ederson in goal, obviously. Zinchenko carried on after an excellent performance against Chelsea. Kompany and also Mendy at centre-back. Danilo in for Walker, who must have been absolutely knackered. Then we had Gundogan stepping in at number 6, so no crazy changes there, just Gundogan, then Silva and De Bruyne, David Silva that is. Right, Mahrez came in from the dark, and then through the middle, Aguero, and then on the left, Leroy Sané. So still a really strong team in general. And the bench as well, Mendy was back, Walker, Sterling, Bernardo, Phil Foden as well. Essentially, we're very lucky to have this squad that we do. Also, Philip Sandler was there, given the fact that all our defenders are essentially dead at the moment. But yeah, that team, that A-team, was pretty strong. So I guess we're lucky, really, that most teams wouldn't be able to deal with these amount of injuries. And we've got a really strong, really committed squad, all capable of stepping in and doing a huge job for Manchester City. It was also nice to see Pellegrini back on the touchline for West Ham. And Nasri got a start as well, though he was largely ineffective for West Ham. And Zabaleta, even though he was on the bench, he got an absolute huge round of applause. And I'll get onto that later on in the second half, but that was lovely to see. Into the first half, we started like a house on fire. I mean, as I said before, I was nervous about this game, and some of my nerves were allayed a little bit with how well we actually played in that first 10 minutes. We absolutely battered them. David Silva hit the post, Mahrez had a few moments, De Bruyne fired wide. We were all over him initially, and we should have been 1 or 2-0 up. But then it had that thing where the longer it goes on when you're dominating, you start to worry a little bit that maybe we won't get the breakthrough that we actually deserve. Then we eventually got through in the second half. The first half was quite frustrating. It was weird watching it because it was largely all coming down the right. Mahrez and De Bruyne should have had West Ham on toast. He had an inexperienced left back, and it did show for him. He played well, the young lad, but he definitely couldn't keep up with the movement of De Bruyne and Mahrez, and they continuously got him behind, but they also both continuously made their wrong choice. They're both either releasing it too quickly, or both releasing it too late, or taking the wrong decisions. That partnership, I think, actually has a lot of promise, because they've not played together loads, given the injuries and given the fact that Mahrez has been in and out of the team. I think it has promise, but there were signs of frustration in that first half, particularly for Mahrez. He had a nightmare, and I'll get onto him more later, but I felt really sorry for him during that first half. And there were signs of frustration kicking in as we didn't get the goal that we deserved. City were by far the better team. We had like 10 shots in the first 30 minutes. Ederson had his first touch only after 30 minutes, and it was one of those games really where the first 45 kind of sets the tone. You're like, we're playing well here, but there's moments of sloppiness and kind of a lack of patience when it mattered. Maybe we were trying to force this issue a little bit too hard. None of the players weren't trying. They were all trying really hard, and there was no lack of energy, weirdly, but maybe a lack of like mental sharpness. The second half saw a really early change. Mahrez coming off Sterling, and eventually Bernardo followed, and those two brought a directness to the team that we really, really needed. They were running at West Ham continuously. The goal eventually came from a penalty. Bernardo running at defenders and Felipe Anderson bundling him over. Now, if I'm being honest, I thought it was really soft. If it was against us, I'd be disappointed, put it that way. Bernardo ran through the box, then he slowed up, and as a result, Felipe Anderson ran to the back of him. Some people would say it was a foul if he's outside the area. That's kind of true, maybe, but I think we all know fouls outside the area and in the area are kind of played by different rules. Whether that's right or not, they tend to be. I don't think Felipe Anderson meant to foul him. I think he kind of ran to the back of him. Either way, I'm not going to complain, because we probably did deserve to win at the end, so that just kind of brought on the inevitable. Aguero coolly slotting at home. He's on a hot streak at the moment. There was never any doubt that he was going to fire it. And after that, City were just a better team. I also forgot to mention that Carroll nearly scored at one point, which showed how dangerous these kind of games are when you kind of when you dominate and you don't score, because a team like West Ham have players that can actually do something with a moment, where we kind of relax a little bit. But other than that, we just kind of played the game out. Phil Foden came on for the last 10 minutes, and he's developed this great ability to really wind teams up in the corner. Well, essentially, we keep the ball for ages, and he's very good at that. But City basically were the better team by a long way in that second half. We deserved the 3 points in the end, really. But we just saw the game out. Onto the individuals, Ederson once again, I want to praise him a lot because he had absolutely naff all to do for most of that game, but he came up trumps when it most mattered. A huge save from Andy Carroll when he could have been not alert at all. And as ever, he was the kind of guy playing those difficult passes out the back in the 87th minute when the fans were nervy, when the team was nervy. He's just cool as you like. He's an absolute robot of a player, but that kind of composure behind it is invaluable. But Danilo had a solid game at right back. He drove forward when he could. He was largely good on the ball. He's such a good player to be able to just bring it in when we want to because he's such a consummate professional and a very good footballer. And I thought he was pretty solid. And likewise, Kompany, Otamendi, they swept up all before him pretty easily. Now, they obviously played against the kind of player that they like playing against. Like, Carroll was a big physical strike and Kompany kind of eats those people for breakfast. And Otamendi, likewise, relishes a battle. But Kompany and Otamendi, I both thought was solid. A big shout out to Kompany. Slotted in as if he's not been out for a long time. He always comes in and just looks like he's totally at home in this team, which I love about it. Even if he hasn't played for a while, he was a rock, he was a leader. And they both passed pretty well out of defence as well. So fair play to them. They had a decent game. They had a little to do, but what they did, they swept up nicely. Zinchenko as well, I thought, apart from 2 sloppy passes right at the end of the game, which is it's nothing. I'll let him off because it happens throughout the game. I thought he was good again. He's showing a confidence and a vibrancy to his game that shows that he feels at home at the moment. I feel like he must feel like he's warranted this chance in the first team. And as a result, he must be absolutely buzzing. And he should be because he's earned it. He's earned this break and he's got there. At the moment, he's currently our first choice left back. I mean, Mendy, I'm sure, will be having his eye on his spot, but Zinchenko's earned that. He's also developing this really nice habit of these gorgeous diagonals, these De Bruyne-esque diagonals across the other side of the pitch. And he picked up Mahrez a few times in that first half, absolutely splendidly. And he got forward as well. He was tenacious. He's also learned to tackle. I didn't really mention it because of the Wembley game because obviously I did a vlog instead, which go and watch, by the way. It's still really good. But one thing that impressed me about Zinchenko with Wembley and today was his toughness. He's developed a steeliness to his game. That means he doesn't get beaten very often. And he tackled Antonio a fair few times toughly as well. He wasn't like a attacking midfield tackling. He was like a fullback tackling. Actually tough. Another very solid performance by him. He must be loving life at the moment. Gundogan, I thought, had a solid game, number 6. He didn't have much to do defensively, but he looks so comfortable on the ball. And obviously, he's very good at putting his foot on the ball, keeping it calm, keeping it simple. Not at his most creative best. And towards the end, when City were killing time, he had a chance to smack it after Foden and freedom. For some reason, he decided to pass. Put your foot through the ball when you're 6 yards out. Put your left foot, smack it into the roof of the net, and City win 2-0. But he didn't. But that's City's kind of curse and also a great strength. The fact that we think and try the extra things that other teams don't. Sometimes it won't come off, and that was the time. David Silva, I thought, started pretty lively. I thought he was livelier than he has been for a long time, we've been honest. He was linked up with play, playing through to Sane, to De Bruyne, and he hit the post early on. He did fade a little bit towards the second half, but it was a decent performance for him, nowhere near the level that he's been recently. It's been a little bit below par by his usual glorious standards. De Bruyne, to me, showed really promising signs of actually getting back to the De Bruyne that we all know and love. Not perfect, and there was some times where maybe delayed a pass, but there's also some times where he played the kind of passes that only De Bruyne can, with a crispness and a directness and a pace that is just pure Kevin De Bruyne. The signs are encouraging that maybe he'll get back to his full sharpness soon. He said himself he's not fully there yet, and it takes him a while to get back to the rhythm of last season. That's understandable, but for me, De Bruyne, this is a step in the right direction. I felt really sorry for Mahrez. He's become a bit of a whipping boy, and we all kind of joke about how he loves shooting, but I thought he really, really tried. But he's one of those players where obviously his confidence is hugely shot, and little things weren't coming off for him, which normally he would just, he'd be totally comfortable and he'd make the right call. But it's not happening for him. He's obviously a good footballer, obviously. I mean, he just is. You can tell by his touch. Some of the first-time touches from Zinchenko's diagonal balls was absolutely splendid, sumptuous touches. But he just didn't quite have the end product, so he didn't read De Bruyne. De Bruyne didn't read him, and then it's one of those things where one thing goes wrong, so more things start to go wrong, and you take a heavy touch, and he was pulled early on. I hope it comes good for him, but at the moment he's not setting the world alight, and I'm really worried that I've become a bit of a boo boy because he doesn't deserve that. We've got to get behind him, support him. Fingers crossed he can come through. Sane, didn't really do anything for me, if I'm being honest. I love Leroy Sané, but he had an indifferent game. And the telling thing for me, and this goes for Mahrez as well, is that Sterling and Bernardo were brought on as the A team, and Sané and Mahrez were both pulled. And at the moment, it's probably fair. Sterling and Bernardo both brought a lot of direct ability, a lot of pace, a lot of drive at the defenders, and that terrified West Ham. Yes, it's because they were a bit more tired, the defenders, but they're obviously our first choice pairing at the moment out wide because they have an intelligence, the game, and a confidence that those two at the moment I'm not saying they haven't got it, but at the moment they're not playing with that same level. So for me, it was notable when Bernardo and Sterling came on, how much they brought to the team. Sterling with his direct running, his liveliness, his skill. And Bernardo, just with his speed of thought, he won the penalty. He ran Zabba a little bit ragged. By the way, I've got to quickly mention Zabba's reaction from the fans when the stadium came on. Absolutely beautiful. I loved it. Got goosebumps. Zabba back on the pitch. Oh, I love that. He did all right as well. He got turned 1 point by Bernardo, but there's no shame in that. But back to Bernardo. I thought Bernardo showed how good he is at the moment with what he brought to the team. Aguero as well had a pretty solid game. I thought some of his link-up play was really, really good. Didn't get loads of chances, but he worked his arse off, and he could have been absolutely knackered after the Carabao Cup, but he wasn't. Fair play to him. He's obviously very confident and very happy at the moment. You can tell by that training video when he's dancing away. That's it he put out. So he's feeling confident. He doesn't look tired. And also Foden came on, had a nice little 10-minute cameo. I actually quite enjoyed his cameo. I thought he showed that he's comfortable in the team. He set up a chance at Gundogan. He was kind of winding up West Ham in the corner. And in general, a nice little moment for him. Now, overall, we got the 3 points. Obviously, we battered Watford. I think it was 5-0, something like that. So we had to win. I was nervous before the game, and I think justifiably so. I didn't think we played badly, and I don't think we did play badly. I just thought it'd be a tricky game, and it turned out to be a tricky game too. But we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters now. And I also really like the application from the players. They have every right to be absolutely knackered after a very stressful 120 minutes against a very good team in Chelsea, but they turned up today and they really did try. Maybe they were lacking a bit of sharpness of thought, but that's just what fatigue does for you. It takes me a while to click into things when I'm tired, so it'd be harder for professional elite footballers when their thought processes are dulled. But they were playing on adrenaline, and I thought they did well against a decent team, a team that can blow hot and cold, a team that's pretty organised as well defensively, and they got the 3 points. That is literally all that matters at this stage of the season. We didn't play badly, not perfectly, but we didn't play badly. Anyway, guys, so what I say thank you to all these names scrolling down the side of the screen here. These are my patrons. These are the guys that keep this channel going. You're absolute heroes. If you want to get involved, patreon.com/Esteemed Company. If not, keep watching these videos. You're all absolute heroes. Also, want to know your thoughts on the game. Who was your man of the match? What did you make of that performance? Who do you want to see play against Bournemouth? All that kind of stuff. Get in the comments below. Make sure, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Drop this video a like. Watch the Wembley vlog as well. I'll see you soon.